Hello and welcome to another tour. Today we've got the National Aquarium of New Zealand in Napier.
Under the age of 14.
So here we go. Here's the New Zealand native freshwater fish called the giant cockapoo. So here we have some native New Zealand tuna or eels. So there's one right there. They are quite big, but they can actually get bigger than that. They can grow up to about 3 meters. So here's one of the really rare Archie's frogs. There's only about 300 of these in the wild, and they live on a little bit of the South Island. So to see one of these in the National Aquarium is pretty special. So these are sort of the fish you see in the intertidal pool, and oh, there's an actual hermit crab walking along the surface of the water there. That's pretty cool. So here we have the golden snapper, and beside that is the packhorse crayfish. There's a better shot of one. Look at that. So here we have a big-bellied seahorse, and it's actually, the big one's probably the male, because the males get pregnant, and they're the ones that deliver the babies, not the females. So that's pretty cool, pretty unique for the animal kingdom. So posing right here for us is the loggerhead sea turtle. This is actually the closest I've seen. He's always been hiding, but today he's out. Look at that. I think this is probably my first time I've seen a sea turtle in my life before. So here is the Napier Aquarium's massive tank. You can see that there's all arrays of fish here. Like there's a puffer fish up there, there's a few fish down here, there's a puffer fish coming up to see us just here. So here's probably what the Napier Aquarium's most known for, their moving walkway, which is pretty cool. It goes all over the tunnel, and oh wow, there's a stingray going over us. And there's see, look, I'm actually moving. I'm not actually pushing myself. No one's actually pushing me, so I can actually just cruise around and tell you a little bit about the wildlife. Oh wow, there's actually a diver in here feeding some of the fish. He's actually cleaning the glass. So here's some of the big groupers. These are pretty big fish and can grow up to about 1.2 meters. So there's one of the big stingrays.
How's that? We got both coming at the same time.
Wow, that was pretty cool. We had both of the stingrays come overhead. And here's one of the baby stingrays having a sleep. So here are some shells that you'd see sort of in Hawke's Bay. There's the pearl shell. There's like some conch shells that people listen to the sea. So there's all kinds of shells in here. That's pretty cool. And look at this big mussel type shell. Now we're entering the flooded forest. So these are what are called African chitilids. These are the type of fish you'd see in an aquarium. So these are called pacus, and if you think they look like piranhas, well, they are closely related to piranhas, and actually young pacus, they look so much like piranhas when they're young that they hide in actual schools of piranhas to help save themselves from predators, which is pretty cool. So here are a mixture of fish that live on the Amazon. You've got tinfoil barbs, they're the ones with the red tails. Some pink tail shakaloos, they're the big ones, like that one there. Picos domus is that one there, so that quite big one. And then there's a shark there as well. So down there, that's silver shark. And there's some striped-tailed catfish as well. So here's an exhibit of blind cavefish. Now these are actually blind fish, and they spend their whole lives in dark caves that they don't actually need eyes. So it's pretty tough to think that they can have no eyes and still survive. So here we have some Japanese koi carp. Now, believe it or not, these are actually invasive because they dominate all other species and they breed prolifically. But they are very popular in Japan. You'd probably heard of the koi pond, so people do them for like relaxation. But that's pretty cool. We've got a good shot of it coming up to surface. And here we've got a yellow margin box turtle. This is Plodder, and I've yet to see Kinky, who is the female. You can tell which is male and which is the female because of the size of their shell. So these turtles were part of the illegal pet trade, so they got rescued from the illegal pet trade. Here's a little bit more well-known fish, the goldfish. Now these are the most commonly kept pet in the world, but it's a bit difficult to teach them tricks. But pretty big size enclosure for them and for the koi carps as well. Interesting fact, goldfish have teeth in their throat and no stomach. So that's a bit weird. So these fish are called silver dollars. They're native to South America and they're called silver dollars because of their flat-like shape. They look like silver dollars. So here we got two pretty big water dragons. These are native to Australia and you can often find these guys running around. So here's another enclosure with two more water dragons. They're probably a bit considerably bigger than the other ones we just saw, and there's two, both on logs. So here we have a fish called the banded bircher. This species is one of the last surviving of the Jurassic period. So this guy was alive when dinosaurs were around. Kind of looks like a crocodile with the spines along his back. So here's a massive pool of red-eared slider turtles. There they are. There's some turtles around there and some of the big puckus that we saw earlier. But this one's getting a lot closer. So here's a look-down shot of the crayfish and the Amazonian fish we saw. So if you look very, very carefully, you can see one of the crayfish down there. Here's a coral tank you might have seen in Finding Nemo. There's a big pufferfish there. And some more fish like these anglerfish and blue tang. So this is basically the Finding Nemo tank. Here's another continuation of that coral tank we just saw. This is arguably more Finding Nemo because you see there's a clownfish in that anemone, and there's one of the yellow fish that likes to protect bubbles. So yeah, this is another extension to one of those tanks. So another big national icon in New Zealand is the tuatara, a very old reptile that's been around since the dinosaurs. You can actually tell how old it is by the spines on its back. So I'd say this is probably a good 120 years old. This little exhibit here is a little timeline on an amazing lady called Dr. Joan Whiffen. She discovered a lot of fossils, and these are some of her fossils. You can see there's like a Sarcosuchus head skeleton there. There's heaps of bones, and that's her there. The aquarium also has some Jurassic residents, like this big animatronic dinosaur. This dinosaur once ruled the earth, and it was from around these parts. So from where we are now on Napier's Marine Parade, was completely inhabited by dinosaurs. So here are some of the dinosaurs that would have been in New Zealand. So there's the ankylosaur, the mosasaur, the pterodactyl. That one kind of looks like, almost like the normal sharks we see in the ocean today. So a lot of these ones came to be what reptiles are in New Zealand now. So this diagram shows all of the different eras that dinosaurs ruled. Obviously we've heard of the Jurassic and the Triassic and the Cretaceous periods, but not so much the Pennsylvanian, the Devonian, the Ordovician. So that was in the Paleozoic era, and the one that we've heard about is the Mesozoic era, and that happened about 145.5 million years ago, thanks to this little diagram here. So here are some of the marine reptile vertebrae, almost like a shark, a fish skeleton. How do you make a goldfish old? Take away the G. There's some pterodactyl bones and some shell fossils. So anywhere you find fossil shells means that the area was once underwater. And there's some more vertebrae, some bones in there, some plant leaves from the ancestor of the kauri tree, the plesiosaur bone, and the squid-like animals. So we got some little penguins here in the pool. They have a breeding program for the little penguins, which is pretty cool. So, and these penguins here that you see can't be re-released into the wild, because you see that penguin, he's having a bit of a hard time flapping one of his flippers, so he can't be released, but he can have a happy life here at the National Aquarium. So one really cool thing about the National Aquarium is you can actually go in with these guys, and you can go in and feed them instead of just being here. You get out onto that jetty and you feed them, which is pretty cool. And if you don't want to do that, then you can always come to the free keeper talks of the penguins. They do them 3 times daily, and they also do a diving one in the big tunnel, and they also do the coral reef feeding as well. But this is the coolest one because you get to see a lot of activity of these penguins. Here they're going. So here's the kingfish, there's the gurnard, the trevally, the snapper, the short-tailed stingray, the scarlet wrasse, the harpooker. Here's a closer scarlet wrasse, and as always it's exit through the gift shop. They also got a cafe with some cabinet foods and some cafe foods as well. Definitely recommend. So that's our tour and review of the National Aquarium of New Zealand. We really enjoyed it. We were here for about 4 hours. We got to see one of the penguins getting fed, which was pretty cool. And we also got to see the divers in the tank. That was probably my favourite. And also the stingrays going above us as well, so that was pretty cool. Thanks for watching, and see ya in the next one.